Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Healthy Lifestyle podcast series. Today, with me, we have a very special lady. Her name is Carol Croft. She's joining us via Skype all the way from Idaho. She is the founder of Crystal Insights, a very unique and metaphysical website selling different kinds of Orgonite and her famous Zappers. Thank you very much, Carol, for joining us today.
Oh, no problem. It's my pleasure.
So thank you. So Carol, tell me more about your background, your journey, how you got involved with Zappers, because um and your story with Don Croft. Tell us a bit more about that.
I met Don probably, 21 years ago. He came to me for a reading, and he traded a Hilda Clark zapper that he made for the reading, and so it was that was very sweet. But I immediately he handed me the zapper, and I immediately took the copper pipes off, and I took the lobster claw clips and I tucked them into my waistband because I said, nobody's going to do this, sit and hold the copper pipes, right? And I said, you need to put some sort of electrodes on the box so people can just like wear it in their waistband. They don't have to sit and do, 20 minutes on or 10 minutes, 7 minutes on, 20 minutes off, 7 minutes on, 20 minutes off, 7 minutes on, and make it easy and streamlined for people. And he did, and he came back a year later and he said, everything you told me happened. And he said, look at the product that I made because of what you said, and he was showing me the zapper with the discs on the, or actually at the time there were plates on the box, and it was, pretty cool. But that's kind of how we met and how we got started, with the zappers.
So what made I understand he had an illness and that's why he was drawn to using the Zappers in the first place.
He had depression most of his life, and a lot of depression is caused from brain flukes. He also had hepatitis C too, and so he used the zapper to fix that, and also it cured his depression of years, by using the zapper regularly. So, it was an amazing wake-up call for him. That's how he got started. Somebody told him, oh, well, try this, and he got a Hilda Clark, or made a Hilda Clark design. He looked up the schematics for it online and made his own, and it cured his depression. So he was sold after that.
Yeah, I mean because this wasn't his background before. He was just a humble sign painter.
Right,
That was his
exactly.
background.
Yeah. No,
And
not
so
at all. But Don's technically a genius. He has a very high IQ, or had a very high IQ. So, it was easy for him to pick up on stuff, you know.
And so,
Mm.
how then did you get involved with working with him? He came to you, built Zapper. He came to you for a psychic reading. Then you decided both to get involved because of your psychic ability. Is that how that happened?
Um, Actually, he needed somebody. Well, we got involved, but he needed somebody to help him build the zappers, and I was helping him with that. And I had a whole lot of suggestions because I'm a natural empath and psychic intuitive, and people always ask me, well, what kind of psychic are you? And I call myself a natural psychic because I can do it all. And so I helped him with the energetic part of the zappers. When I met him, he was painting crystals, and wrapping them instead of using, like the amethyst and the garnet in there. And there was a lot of things that I helped him with and fine tune with the zapper, because of my intuitive abilities.
Amazing, amazing. So, you could actually see the energy fields of these zappers. You could see
Oh,
what they were doing.
When he first came to me with the Hilda Clark zapper, it was like 26,000 milliamps, or I don't know what they call it, hertz or whatever. And I put that on, I was holding it in my hands and I was watching the electrical current, and most of the electrical current, 80 to 90% of the electrical current was going across the surface of the skin. And I said, intuitively, I was told that lower that frequency way down to the close to the Schumann frequency. And so I told him that. And the next time he came, he brought a zapper that was 15 hertz or 15 milliamps or whatever. I don't know the terms, okay? But, he lowered the frequency way down to 15. And I held the zapper for him. He goes, okay, what's it doing? And I said, like 80 to 90% is going right through the skin. You don't have all this excess energy going across the skin that's not being used by the body, And so he lowered it way down, and it's made our zapper one of the best-selling zappers on the market. So
Yeah, and he,
cool.
if I'm not mistaken, when he first used that zapper, it was without even Orgonite in there. It was just a normal zapper without Orgonite. Is that right?
Actually, well, he had two zappers. He had a plain one, and then he also had one that he was putting Orgonite blocks in. So he was putting Orgonite in there to begin with, but all the other additives to the Orgonite came later on, with the, different energy signatures and different things that he was wanting to accomplish with the zappers. I would help him with that. So.
Can you tell us a bit more about what Orgonite is and why that is so powerful?
Orgonite, the first time I realized what Orgonite did, I knew it made you feel better. Obviously, anytime there's any emotional distress, it's like you give someone or hand them a piece of Orgonite, they hold it, you can actually watch it melt off of them within a couple of minutes. But what Orgonite does, the premise of Orgonite is it takes any unbalanced or negative energies, absorbs it, and then transmutes it and puts it back out as healthy, balanced chi or life force. So they're life force generators, essentially. And it works for cell phone towers, for EMF in your home, any kind of high voltage EMF, no matter what that is. It helps with negative emotions. It helps with any kind of energy attack, any kind of psychic vampirism that may be going on. It stops all that. Any kind of negative energies, no matter what they look like, is absorbed by Orgonite, transmuted, and put back out as neutral and positive chi or life force.
And you make your own Orgonite, don't you? You have special forms of Orgonite using different kinds of crystals.
Yeah, and Don was a fan of just making plain Orgonite, which is just a crystal point. Well, I'm energy sensitive, and I love gemstones, so I can't make plain Orgonite. I've tried. I can't stop myself from adding more gemstones. It was always, I just need the plain Orgonite, and I said, no, I can't make it. I'm sorry. I always had to add other energies to it because the gemstones talk to me. I want to be in there. I want to be in there. So it's kind of an affliction, kind of in a way, because and everybody that you talk to that makes Orgonite, they become addicted to it because it makes them feel so good, and once they make it, it's like creating a child. Some people have explained way that it's almost like that Orgonite becomes an extension of you, which it kind of does, depending on what you're creating. Even there's a lot of Orgonite out there right now that isn't real true Orgonite, because true Orgonite has to be at least 50 to 75% metal, and then the crystal point and your catalyzed resin. So there's a lot. I was at the Tucson Rock and Gem Show, and there was a whole lot of vendors that were selling just layered glitter or layered gemstones with no metal. And I even called him on it and said, that's not real Orgonite. I even took an Instagram account
So
to
they,
show people, watch out.
so you're saying that there's people selling fake Orgonite out there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
A
crazy.
lot of people really got to be careful. You've got to know what you're looking at. You know, if you can't see the metal, it's not real Orgonite.
Hmm. Interesting, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thought such a niche market like that? People are making fake, artificial versions of this stuff.
And I
Um,
believe, I believe it's, I hate to be conspiracy type, but, they're trying to stop the movement, trying to stop people from bettering the planet because they have their agendas, of making, the earth a certain way and being able to control everyone. And when you have Organite around, you're not controllable. You are in control. You are self-empowered. There's no downside for the person that has Organite around them or in their space.
and so in terms of your journey with Don, you and Don used to do Orgonite gifting all over the country. You've written a
All
book
over
um,
the
all over the world. Okay, could you tell us more about what that involved, the gifting of Orgonite, and what you experienced? Could you tell us more about what you and Don did?
We went to a lot of places and gifted sacred sites, power sites, huge vortex. We gifted the St. Michael line in France and England and Scotland. Followed
England
it all
and
the way
Scotland.
up.
Okay.
Yes, and we've been to Africa 2, 3 times and did a lot of stuff down there too. Um, a lot of the power spots down there. There's a lot of power spots down there. I mean, I could tell you some stories about aliens and all kinds of stuff, but we're not there. But different things that happened while we were there. But and I've been to Rome and gifted, in Rome, and Dawn went to Belize and did part of the Central America part. We've been all over the world and did stuff. The only place that we haven't been is South America
Hmm.
and India. They're the only 2 places that we haven't been and gifted. But we spent every penny we had, uh, buying resin, buying supplies, making Orgonite, and then paying for trips to go take care of the world and humanity, and most people don't understand what we gave, Here, Don's gone, and I don't even have a home. I'm renting a place, but it's because we gave everything to this movement,
Mm.
and, I don't regret any of it. There's absolutely no regrets, but we gave everything, all our lifeblood, every for it.
I have to say, that is so admirable, very noble of both of you. I mean, what a kind, loving, and caring thing to do for your planet because you want to live in a
Hmm.
better world. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I thank you for
And
doing that.
I want to empower everybody, and the more I talk about it, it's all about self-empowerment for people, because so many people are so hopeless and so disempowered, and it's my life mission to make sure that people can get that back, and also get back their health and everything, with the zappers and different things. So it's all about that for me, and it's going to continue to be that way.
I want to share something with all our listeners and also with you, Carol. I
Mm-hmm.
personally bought a one of your zappers, your Terminator zappers, a couple of years ago, actually. It was a friend that recommended it, and I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
anything about zappers, okay? So I just took the recommendation, I bought it from you, and I didn't use it. It just sat in the drawer, okay, in my room. And it's only because of this virus, this coronavirus, um, that I took it out the drawer and I've started to use it. And I think it's been around about I think 10 days now, I've been zapping every day using the Terminator zapper. And I had a bit of a cough before. Okay, I wasn't ill or anything, but I had a little bit of a cough. That cough went in less than 24 hours.
Yeah, that's the norm for when you start zapping.
And I
Mm-hmm.
found it very powerful. My experience with the Terminator is I love it. And I now
Mm-hmm.
zap for an hour a day. I could do it more than an hour actually. It's very, very, very powerful. And I would recommend zappers to everyone. So, I mean, this is the thing I wanted to talk about is why the zappers, how they work, and in terms of this huge pandemic with the coronavirus, how
Mm-hmm.
what's the function of it and how they would work killing the virus? Please tell us more.
The premise with the zappers is that any electrical current that goes through the skin will kill any parasite, virus, bacteria, worm in your body that's detrimental to the body. The little critters that are detrimental to the body are positively charged, and the zapper only kills the positively charged entities. Okay, and the ones that are beneficial to the body are negatively charged, which seems like it should be the other way around, but I always had an issue with that. It took me a long time to get that straight because I thought, well, shouldn't the good bacteria be the positively charged, but it's not that way. So it only kills the positively charged, the things that are detrimental to the physical body, detrimental to your health. So it doesn't kill the good bacteria in the gut or
Mm,
the intestines so that's one of the big questions that most people have,
yes.
about the zappers. So when I was in Africa, the Africans they told me, how do we cure AIDS? I said, go touch the electrical fence. They thought that was funny as heck, but it's true. I mean, it will kill any detrimental thing. Any kind of electrical current will kill the detrimental uh, parasites, worms, bacteria, viruses in the body. It was a huge joke, but I could tell some stories, but it's kind of hard to, in the time that we have, it's of my experiences, I've seen it, heal someone with AIDS that I thought was going to die the next day. They were so deathly sick, and I've seen some amazing things that the Zapper's done.
So
And
you're
we've got on our web World Without Parasites on the testimonials. There's a FAQ and testimonials link on worldwithoutparasites.com, and there's a whole lot of testimonials. A few years ago, we were attacked by the Attorney General in
hmm
the Idaho Attorney General, and they took off they went into our website without our okay and took down every mention of the C word,
ah, cancer. I've just said
so
it.
yeah, okay. They took down every testimonial, and we had a lot of testimonials of people that cured that horrible disease. So, but they took it all off, and it wasn't what we were saying. These were testimonials. We're very careful about making claims about our zapper because it's the only way you can survive, in a business like this, especially.
Absolutely. So you're saying an
Yeah.
electrical current kills the positively charged pathogens, bacteria, viruses, worms, etc. So my question is
Mm-hmm.
then, why is your zapper set to 15 hertz? Why is it that particular
Mm-hmm.
current? Why is it not higher or why is it not lower? Why that particular frequency?
Well, when I told Dawn to my spirit guides told me very loudly, take it down to the Schumann frequency. You want it as close to the Schumann frequency as you can get, because then and Dawn didn't want to get specific with the Schumann frequency because there's a lot of talk about the Schumann frequency and all that. So he took it down really close to it. And the reason why that frequency works so well, okay, is because all of those pathogens that are detrimental to the body live in the same environment as we do. And those pathogens, the Rife machine and all these other things are out there with specific frequencies for specific illnesses or specific pathogens or what have you, okay? And a lot of those, what happens is they send that frequency towards that parasite, worm, or bacteria or virus, and what that entity does is it wants to survive, so it evolves. It evolves, and it becomes, and that frequency becomes null and void. It doesn't work on them anymore. But when you're really close to the Schumann frequency, they have no way to evolve away from what they live in, the frequency that they live in. And they live here on this earth. They live in our physical body in that frequency. So they can't evolve away from that. And so it doesn't, they have no way of being, what's the word when they can't get away from it? I can't even think right now for some reason. I had it in my brain a second ago. But they have no way of guarding against that frequency. So they can't get away from it.
I see. So that's the reason for that.
Yeah.
And so then what would be the difference? Because you sell two main types of zappers. You do the Terminator, and then you do the more modified version, which is the T-Rex model. What's the difference between the two? I mean, I'm guessing the T-Rex, from what I've read on the website, is more powerful. But from your point of view, what else is there between the two of them?
The two zappers. This is the Terminator. Okay, this one is the Terminator. That's the inside of it, and then it's got the round discs on the back. And this is the T-Rex. And the T-Rex, and it has the 5-sided discs on the back of it. But the Orgonite plug in the T-Rex here, it has an added coil, caduceus coil in there with 14, 15, 16, 17 different gemstones that have to do with the chakra system in the body, and also the and other gemstones that help the body open up to the electrical current. So why this one works better is because it opens the body more to the electrical current. This zapper goes deeper into the body, deeper into the deep, dense muscle tissue of the gut and the brain.
Okay.
So it goes deeper in the body, and it's more efficient because of that. Because the body, and your body is an amazing healing machine. If you listen to what it needs for nutrition, and you cut out sugar and you cut out carbs as much as possible, and you zap, there's no reason to get sick. Sugar is a horrible poison that our bodies don't need, and that's why people, a lot of people are addicted to sugar, and it's like the worst addiction in the world to have, because it eventually makes you sick,
Well,
So
sugar also ages you.
Oh yeah, a lot.
But the problem is that most people are addicted to sugar in lots of different ways.
Yeah.
And you're saying that using the modified T-Rex can help with that, sugar cravings and things like that?
It helps me. I'm almost completely off of sugar altogether, and I don't eat carbs once in a great while. If I'm on a trip or something away from home, I have a few carbs, but hardly ever. And now if I have sugar, I just shake, because my body's not used to it. And I don't miss sugar at all myself, So and there's a lot to be said for that.
Actually, now moving on to that subject, I remember after listening to Don's previous interviews and other things that he's written on his website, World Without Parasites, he's mentioned this thing called corporate and weaponized food. Could you please tell us more about what that is, please?
That's the genetically modified food, especially corn is the biggest genetically modified crop there is. And, it's staying away from corn, and also a lot of the carbs, because most of it's GMO. Unless you have a very clean diet and you really read your labels, because a lot of organic food is not that clean. You have to be very careful, know where your food's coming from, and read the labels to find out what's in it. So you have to be responsible, in order to be healthy. And you also have to detox. Right now I'm doing calcium bentonite clay. I'm drinking that twice a day, and also doing charcoal. So I do the things that help. And what those two do is they adhere to any heavy metals, any toxins in your body, and gets it out of your body, so you don't have to process that. Because no matter what, we all come in contact with toxins in our environment. Shoot, we breathe it every day. And then if there's chemtrails, there you've got that too, along with all the GMO food that they hide in all of our food. So I mean, it's quite a job to be very, very careful about what you eat, and also, being responsible and taking the upper hand, and being responsible for your own health. It's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding, because, I mean, heck, do you want to die in your 50s, because that's what's going to happen if you're not responsible. That's what happens to all those people that are lined up at McDonald's and, all those fast food places. They just get overweight, and they have, horrible health, and it just keeps going, they just keep going down the rabbit hole there, and then pretty soon they're gone, So I'm not going to do that. I don't like to feel horrible myself. So I'm very careful myself.
So I think a lot of it's down to depression, and it's to do with food addiction problems. And
people, when they're depressed, that's for sure.
yeah, and
I mean, I do too. Yeah.
I think there's a big link between the food you eat and depression, and weight and weight gain and things like that. And Don himself used the zapper to overcome depression, which then in turn helps you deal with things in a more productive way. And so the zappers have a detoxifying effect because they obviously cleared the depression. Can they also help? The Orgonite will also help produce a healthy and beneficial energetic field, which can help people feel better about themselves, strengthen their aura. So in many ways, you're kind of killing off bacteria, but then you're producing and inducing powerful, beneficial energy in the body. So it's like a twofold process.
You're pulsing life force into your body. So, like I said before, there's no downside to that. I mean, like I said, we're inundated with all these things that tear down our health. And the zapper builds back up, builds the energy in the body. Most people, they buy the zappers. A lot of people buy the zappers because they like the feel of it. They like that they're more energetic, and they feel like they, want to go out and exercise and do things. So.
Can you tell us what you think about 5G and the coronavirus? If there's a link to that, what your opinion of this is? I know it's a very delicate and controversial subject at the moment, but you actually sell tools to help with EMFs and 5G. Please give us your opinion on that.
5G, there's nothing worse. I mean, unless you go to 10G, and that's what they want to do. They want to go from 5G all the way up
to 10G.
I don't know what's next. Is it 7 or 10? I don't remember. But the 5G, the EMFs coming from that stuff is, it used to be, that, I tell people like smart meters and that kind of thing. It's just like strapping a cell phone tower to the side of your house. And you hear about all these people that, they get paid by the month for having a tower on their property. Those people don't, within five years, they're dying of cancer, and now they're coming out with 5G, which is so much worse, and I don't know, I get kind of worked up about the 5G, energies, because it's going to kill the planet. It's going to kill humanity. And I won't have it in my house. I won't have it, and I live out in the country, so I'm a little kind of detached from it right here.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a router in my house, and I picked this router because you can't get one that isn't 5G compatible. But on mine, there's a switch. You can either do 2.5 or you can do 5G or 2.4. I don't remember. It's 2 point something. And you can switch it over to 5G. That's never going to happen in my house. But I picked it specifically because I was in control of it. So that's something to think about too when you upgrade your Wi-Fi, because that's the world we live in right now. That everybody's got computers, everybody's got Wi-Fi, everybody's got a cell phone, and they're one of the products. I started out doing 5G tower busters on my site in shungite. I have Imperial shungite, which is like the Ferrari of shungite. It's pretty expensive, but I make these tower busters with the Imperial shungite in them to help guard against the 5G. And once I made those, I got really strongly that I need to start putting shungite every Orgonite thing I make. So all of my Orgonite from here on out is going to have shungite in it, because these guys are not backing down anytime soon. They're all about population control on the planet, and that's what that coronavirus is. It's a man-made virus. They're calling it an exotic virus or something like that. Come on, and people don't get that it was. There's no secret that it's man-made. So they're trying to kill off humanity. And if you have a zapper, you can guard against any kind of virus or pathogen. So that's a big first step right there, and if you have a zapper and you use it every day, I put them on in the morning. Well, I don't take mine off except for when I'm in the shower, especially with what's going on now with the coronavirus, or I guess they call it COVID, some kind of number now, because they were getting in trouble for calling it the coronavirus. But anyway, I don't take my zappers off, because I'm just like, there's no way they're going to, give something to me, and then they've got a vaccine for it now, and that vaccine is worse than the coronavirus.
Yes.
So, and now I've heard too that they're going to try to do forced vaccinations.
Mandatory vaccinations.
They're going to have to catch me. There's no way they're going to do that to me. No, I won't do it.
I completely agree with you, and I have the same opinion. You said you use shungite in your products, but I have heard that the shungite gets saturated and needs to be cleared. Is that true?
No, the thing that, if it's not an Orgonite, it needs to be cleared. Gemstones and Orgonite, as long as it's in the matrix, because of what Orgonite does anyway, it's constantly clearing itself. So it's constantly clearing any gemstone that's inside of it. It's inside the matrix of the Orgonite. So no, you don't have to clear it. You don't have to clean it.
Okay. I also have some questions that I've put together. Slightly technical questions, but I'm going to ask them to you. So you've cleared you cleared up on the shungite, which is good. The other thing that I wanted to ask you was, Don's classic Orgonite models were inspired with higher assistance. And right now, it would seem that we need some powerful, wide-range Orgonite tools to improve the planetary energy at this time. Have you received any guidance on new devices or improvements to the powerful items like cloud busters, for example, that can break through this negative planetary energy of fear that everyone has at the moment?
The only upgrade with the Orgonite or the cloud busters is you probably want to buy something that does have some sort of shungite in it. Or I have a friend, she wants to get 8 cloudbusters for her backyard because she's very hands-on with her cloudbusters. And so she's out there turning them every which way, and she's in Tornado Alley, So she's actually split storms in half, and they went around her. And all the neighbors saw it on the Weather Channel. They went, "What the heck?" And they couldn't explain it any other way than, she was out there manipulating her cloudbuster to stop that storm. I mean, the cloudbusters don't really need an upgrade, I don't think, other than, if you did want to put some shungite in there to help, make it a little more powerful. But and like I said, on all of my products on my website, I'm putting shungite in everything, and I'm using the imperial shungite because it's stronger, it's more pure. So
You also sell
I think
something
that,
called you also sell something, Carol, called the Harmonic Protector. What is that, and how does that work
uh
exactly, blocking the EMFs? Because that sounds like a very interesting device that I was reading on your website, and I just wondered, could you tell us more about it, please?
in the beginning, I tried everything out there, the Q-Link, the E-Crystal. I can't remember all the different products I tried because Don, we wanted to travel, and I couldn't travel with all the cell phone towers and the high voltage wires. I would have a migraine and throwing up 2 hours after we got in the car. And I tried all this stuff, and none of it worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said universe, and I said, "You've got to help me if you want me to do this work. Give me something or some kind of idea as to what I can use that's going to help me be okay, and be out there and doing this." And within 2 weeks, I was literally given everything that's in the Harmonic Protector. People showed up at my house with titanium chips. I mean, where would you get titanium chips unless you worked for like an airline
Yeah.
assembly place or something like that? And, I was on my way back from Florida, and we stopped at my friend's, and she's a very good clairvoyant and psychic,
Mm-hmm.
and she said she had a drink the night before, and she goes, I was given this coil, and they told me loud and clear that I was supposed to give it to you. And I knew right away it's the coil on the back of the Harmonic Protector. And then I went to New Grange in Ireland, and that coil is on the inside of New Grange. It's on the inside wall. So I mean, and within also another sign was within 2 weeks that coil was in a crop circle in England. It showed up
Mm.
there. There was a crop within 2 weeks to a month after I got the ingredients, and it was like, "Okay, you guys, I've got it," you know. But I was literally given everything in that within 2 weeks to 2 to 3 weeks, and I made it, and I sent it out. I sent it out to over 100 people,
Mm-hmm.
just because I don't like to sell something that just by my say so, just by my what I get that it does. So I sent it out to a lot of my energy sensitive friends
Mm-hmm.
and psychics and different people, and they all came back with the same exact explanation of what it did. And I said, "Okay, we're good to go," you know. And I put them out on the market, and it was a huge success. And everybody reported back the same thing, that made them more focused, made them clear, they could think again.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't so depressed all the time. They didn't feel anxiety, all of that. And that's what Orgonite does, and that's what the Harmonic Protector does, is
Will it
it helps you focus,
will it
protects the
help
physical body.
will it help, Carol, with these dangerous 5G transmissions? Will the harmonic protector help with
Yeah,
that?
all of my Orgonite from now on is going to have a little bit of shungite in it. So it's I mean, nothing that I sell is going to not have shungite in it now, because it just makes me angry that these people are trying to tear down humanity. So I'm going to do everything I can to make the scale go the other way, so that people can be self-empowered and help themselves,
Hmm.
if they're looking for answers.
Yes, and there's a lot of people are looking for answers at the moment. We're in a lot of chaos. So
Yeah.
this could be a good solution for people to try and certainly to investigate more into is the harmonic
Mm-hmm.
protector. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking, is there any more technical questions? Bear with me now. Da, da, da. Yes, here, this is my last technical question. Many EMF many EMF sources transmit frequencies that damage physical body cells or biological functions. So we're talking about the oxygen molecules, iodine, water
Right.
molecules, etc., right? To what
Mm-hmm.
extent, or even clairvoyantly, because you're clairvoyant, do you think that the transmuting subtle energy effect of Orgonite would reduce this type of physical harm?
It'll take it away altogether. I can make that claim. I've seen it happen over and over and over. It neutralizes whatever is in that field of the orgonite is safe. Now, if you don't have orgonite around you, if you don't have some sort of orgonite pendant, not necessarily mine, but there's a lot of different ones out there on the market. But again, be careful because you want to see the metal in it. Okay, otherwise
Hmm.
it's not real orgonite. Um, but any orgonite will do this for you. It creates a field of protection around whoever has it. So it will block this stuff from coming in, and it blocks it from affecting the physical body. But you got to remember too, there's all these other things. You have to watch your diet. You have to give your body the right kind of nutrition. You have to do the right detoxing, and along with your zapping, it's not a foolproof one thing that you need. But if you do that, if you are very cautious about your diet and do your detox, your proper detox, and help the zapper work, nobody should have to go to a doctor unless they have a broken bone. That's all they're
Mm,
good for. They're good for setting bones and trauma.
mm.
Okay, the rest is just experimenting on us. You know, they say, "Oh well, let's try this or let's try that," and you're like, "Okay, well that drug doesn't work. Let's try this one." And the whole time, the list of side effects on those things is like 3 pages long. And then at the end it says may cause death.
Yes,
So who wants to do that? You know.
exactly, exactly. It's a risk that people take themselves, and you can avoid that
Yeah.
by using the right things, as you just said.
Hmm. It's a conscious choice. We consciously have to decide I'm going to survive. It's that simple, you know. So
Um, thank you, Carol, for answering all our questions and for giving us your time. There's 100 other questions that I could ask you, and maybe we'll do another episode of this because I just feel I just feel I personally have learnt a lot from you, and I'm sure anybody else who's listening to this will have as well. So if anybody wants to know more about Carol and her work, and if anybody's interested in her product, certainly the Terminator Harmonic Protector or the TRX modified version, they can go onto her website, which is crystalinsights.net, and you can read all about Carol, her journey, and the kind of work that she has. And I'd really encourage you to look into it and maybe try some things out for yourself and see what happens.